No.
Hey, everybody, order, please. Order. Order, please. This means be quiet. Order. Thank you for coming to the College of Complexes, the playground for people who think. As you know, tonight, the college is celebrating 75th anniversary of holding weekly meetings in Chicago to discuss social issues and current events. First meeting took place January 6, 1951, and the name is derived from a psychiatric term for people with repressed ideas that compel expression. It aptly describes the student body. The program tonight, program number 3850, will feature an open microphone on memorable moments. And has the college improved or diminished the level of conversation? These college was ostensibly started to solve all the problems in the world. And the format for this evening will be slightly different from the format we're used to. We will have a brief announcements period. This will be followed by the presentation, which will be Charlie on 75 years of the College of Complexes, followed by 5 minutes of open microphone to people to discuss the College of Complexes. Once everybody, can speak at the open mic, then we will open it up to rebuttals foregoing our question and answer period for this evening. If I'm understanding that correct, Charlie. If not, he can correct me. But with that, we will turn it over to Tim, who will begin our announcements period. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to welcome. Nicely done. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to the College of Complexes. As you know, it is our 75th anniversary. I am going to, as soon as I get the schedule up here, I'm going to give you a little bit of what's upcoming in the next few weeks for the College of Complexes. And sorry, a little bit of technical trouble here, but we'll be all set in a minute here. So, all right. We're starting, this week is January 10th. And January 17th, lack of regulation of medical marketing of supplements, what the terms treats, prevents, and supports really mean. Dr. Daniel Hurley, family factors physician, medical coach, and article, will be talking that week. On January 24th, we're going to have Demi Palasic, candidate for Illinois State Representative. Democrat Debbie doesn't just talk about change, she works to get it and makes it happen. She's a progressive veteran, community activist, and Democrat running for state representative in the 13th district. Includes part of Northside Chicago and Lakefront, she's Uptown, Andersonville, and Lakeview. On January 31st, U.S. threats to overthrow the Venezuelan revolution. Stansfield Smith, he's an expert on Central and South American affairs. And then on February 7th, marching as a vehicle for social change. A report on the Save America March to build unity, one step at a time. And then note, we were planning on ceasing operations after the current schedule is exhausted on February 7th. There is discussions to keep this group going. We will keep you updated as we go on. So, with that being said, are there any more announcements for the good of the club?
I got one more announcement. I forgot to lay the ground rules. The first rule is one fool at a time, which will be strictly enforced this evening. And the second rule is no personal attacks.
Introduce Charlie. All right, let's give a round for Charlie. All right, sir. I'm getting your PowerPoint up now.
Let me know when you're ready.
I will. We'll let you know here in just a second.
I got an announcement.
Go ahead, Bob. Get up there and give an announcement.
And could I get my inhaler? Yeah. Out of the bag.
Bob, if you got an announcement, go ahead. Make your announcement.
I can't. Just say.
It's all right, Bob. We can get you. We got you. Go ahead.
My announcement is actually a commercial for my books. I've written 9 books on making meaning. And I've shown to you tonight depending on how much I like you. I gave Charlie one free. Rid of the college this many years. Oh, I ought to give Tim one too.
No, this one.
They are guaranteed to produce results or you get your money back. You will make more meaning. And why else are we here if it's not to make meaning? So see me if you're interested. Thank you.
Okay, Charlie, your presentation's up. We're going to get started from the beginning. So go ahead when you're ready. Start.
Are you up there?
Yes.
I just wanted to say, next week's speaker comes from our other college, Dr. Dan Healy. He's a real character, and he's going to be talking about labeling of supplements. He's an interesting guy. So let me call up my feet. Okay, welcome. We're celebrating 75 years of One Fool at a Time. We did it. Congratulate yourselves. I want to give a survey. How many here have made a presentation to the college? All right. Where's the rest of you? You want to hear from me?
Click your next.
Yeah, you're next. All right, next slide. And there you see me. Actually, I'm wearing almost the same thing. So I haven't changed my clothes.
Hey guys, flip time.
All right, you're doing good. Next. All right, I pulled out some of our old logos, which I have a collection of, library of, that we've used over the years. And that's just the one. Next. And there's some more. Kind of guys arguing there. You know, then some super modern one. Which one do you guys like? Then we got a woman. Okay. And now we got also not just pixographs, but I thought I'd try all the things you're looking at are things that have been posted regarding meetings and other activities of the college. So everything is authentic, like me. I thought the pretty girl might attract some people here. You know, I'd sure go to I'd like to know what she was protesting. I'm trying to remember, you know. But all right, that's next one. Of course, we come out of the soapbox tradition of the IWW, of which I have been a member for many, many years, and the hobo colleges that were on the west side on Madison Avenue. And then they transitioned into Bug Out Square, Washington Square Park, and later that moved to the Phil Pickle Tavern about half a block away from the park. And later on, there was a regular bar called the College Complexes on North Clark Street. And that's and that gives you the origin beginning. But we are continuing the tradition of the soapbox speakers here. Now you can see, okay, next. Oops. Okay, and you all know the format, we desert it, but this is the thing that I have always tried to maintain. No variation from this. Very few exceptions have I allowed speakers. Oh, do you think, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we have break off into small groups? I said, under no circumstances. You know, please just stick to the format. It's not complicated, and it kind of works, you know. But never vary from the format. Okay. And now, a lot of you don't remember this or see it. It's on the bottom of the website. But many, many years ago, I adopted this as our statement on free speech, and I'll read it. Our Constitution and laws encourage the freest possible exchange of opinions, ideas, and information. in part that recognizes our worth and dignity as human beings. To forbid us to speak our minds demeans us and makes us more like slaves or robots than citizens of a free country. But as important as freedom of expression is for us as individuals, it is perhaps more important to society at large. I think that says it all. Yeah, our noble cause. Anyhow, there's copies floating around of this. This book focuses on the early days of the college and activities of Slim Bundage. I had a pleasure of knowing, but they were kind of like beatnik guys, and kind of liked to drink a lot and speak very loudly. That was their thing. And you talk about Justin maintaining order. They were merciless on speakers. I assure you, they would get up and we have really toned down. That's one thing. You were a lot rougher. They'd interrupt and say, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Okay.
And their big theory was that the conspiracy of the time was German and British bankers were taking over the world. But they were the beat generation from there. There's been several generations of the college. Basically, this was the beatnik one, followed by the civil rights group, the civil rights people. And then you had the Vietnam War people who came along. And then it was kind of open at that point. So you had those different groupings that came along. I call them generations. Okay, there's Slim Bundage there. I think
it's moving.
about the only.
Hey, Tim,
where you
is the
What you have on your screen wasn't coming up over there. Tim, I think Tim has to hit the button or something.
okay, yeah, you keep forgetting me to
Next.
Yeah, tell him next.
Keep next. You got to keep telling me next.
I think what happened to our pointer?
It's in there, but it's not working.
All right. Well, that's something we gotta fix.
We will.
All right. That's the bondage there. Okay.
Yeah, tell us more.
One more what?
One more announcement.
Too late.
Go ahead.
Too late, man. All right.
one pool, guys, please.
I have focused a bit more often in the past. It was easier, but these are again on the website. You can see we've been covered by the media, the major publications at one time or another. Move on. We also, either we were the first in the first show or the second one for the show Wild Chicago of crazy things to do around Chicago. So we were among the first or second episodes of that. Now, way I used to, they asked me, do you want to help out? And I'm a bureaucrat, so I had an office, but everything was done in hard copy. I would call somebody up, and then if they agreed to speak, I had a form, and I had big black felt tip markers, and I put down the topic. You are scheduled to speak on January the 10th on the topic, and I'd send it in the mail. And once in a while, I would even invite people by mail. So everything was done in hard copy. Amazingly enough, I used to keep binders of these potential speakers, and I still have those in my office off in the corner. But everything was this, you can believe you me, email and so forth is a wonderful advantage over the other things. Of course, many of you there, you've been there. Ricardo mentioned it. We participated in the Printers Row Work Fair. At one time, we were the oldest continuous participant, and we had spot number 1 at the event. When I told the girl that we weren't going to be back, she called me even to try to dissuade me. to try to get back there. But it was a good way of reaching out. We thought to the community, and a lot of fun if it didn't rain. Okay, often I'm asked, who is the most famous person to attend the college complexes? And that's easily, I assure you, J.J. Jamison. I was in my office. It was actually, I was working late. Federal employees do work late, but it was 7:30, and I got a call, and they said, your friend has been arrested. And I told the reporter, I said, you got to walk that back. I think you're mistaken. And then he started describing it. And I said, yep, that's it. But the story took off on the wire. And even my friends in other parts of the country, I was quoted. And it's saying, hey, it was a nice guy. It's my friend. JJ and I were writing a play together. And actually, I was kind of glad in one sense he got arrested because he had written a section of the play and I didn't quite know how to tell him that it wasn't very good. But tragically, no, I really didn't want him arrested. I think Ernie went out to Boston. I flew out to Boston and testified at his parole hearing. He called me when he got out. His parole board wouldn't let him come to Chicago. He was going to speak here. I was going to have him speak, but tragically, in the meantime, he passed away. And I assure you, if you Google some of this stuff, it was covered. The story was and still covered. I thought in some respects. Is that coming through the microphone?
Yes.
Okay. And I just wanted to throw this in there. One of my favorite friends at the College of Complexes, and I was active in the group, but then I was thinking about jail, and I came across this picture of Gene Horcher, who was an advocate of the Jane Action Senior Caucus. I caught him. He was trying to get away from the police. He was hiding around the corner. I said, Gene, get back with your folks. You know, well, I caught him there sneaking another criminal. Actually, I heard it described to Gene that he was the only authentic person here at the college. We used to do this on May Day until we got tired of performing it. But Bert McCloskey, who was a reporter, wrote a play called Cell 29. We tried reading it, but it was so long. I'm serious, it would take 6 hours to read the entire play. I have copies of it. I abridged it down a thing where we would read it and throw the bomb. And the reason is because nobody was keeping the event of 1886, the Haymarket Affair, alive in the community just once in a while. So Cell 29, maybe we'll do it again. Oh, we also used to do a lot of plays. Like we had Christmas plays all the time, largely because we couldn't find a speaker around the holidays. But we came up with one on the millennium. I love this title, though. The Golden Musician at the Temple of Humanity. That's great. But I thought it was something to bring in the new year. There you can see we also been trying to promote the college. We came up with the idea of postcards. And these went through several generations. That's one of them there. And there you see Brown Bassford. Tragically, I think he passed away because I called the nursing home and they said he wasn't available. They had no residence, but we'll have to verify that. But he's an excellent gentleman, retired Methodist. No, he never retired. He was a Methodist minister, and president of the Socialist Party, things like that. Okay, our lecture library. Be sure to visit it when you get home. We've got an extensive collection there. I didn't realize when I looked again, how extensive it was. We got to thank Tim Boulder for doing it all these years. But very popular element of the website, gets hits all the time, and we were putting them up on Facebook. Okay. Now we added another thing. That tells me the college can change and grow. I said, well, we better collect PowerPoint presentations, such as this one that I am showing you tonight. That's already been posted. And we have a special website with a collection of PowerPoints. And because another thing is, documentaries came along. And I said, I don't know if we should be showing documentaries, because people can do that on their own. You know, they don't need a college, come to the college to watch a documentary. And we'll get more into that some further. So I said, maybe we'll have a website, or speakers would recommend a documentary, you know. But I would kind of discourage, plus the technology of showing videos very often wasn't there or seemed to work. So I said, let's have a collection and we'll store them there. Very often somebody shows a PowerPoint, and instead of that, oh, send me it or something like this, they would be there. So look through that. I also expanded it to include free films online or documentaries. So it's another source of intellectual pursuit. One reason I did it, also not showing movies, is only one time did we vary really from the format and we showed a movie. It's an excellent movie, I think. It's about two teenagers who are transported into a perfect world. And you see what happens to them. But we showed the movie and it didn't really generate any response. So I said, I don't know if we're going to do that again. I mean, everybody liked the movie. It just, there was no action, no sparks regarding it. So we did try a variation of that not too long ago. I worked with Barton, Jim, Jonathan, and I said, well, how about this? We had the movie up a week in advance, and everybody can watch it, and then we'll get together and you give a presentation on it, like we have a speaker, and we'll discuss it then. And that seemed to work. That seemed to be a good formula. Okay, where have we been? Okay, so many of you already know this. Meeting at the Lincoln Restaurant. That was a meeting. There's Bob Matter. And I remember that. There was Mercy for Animals were there that night. Then we moved to the hillside until we got thrown out of there.
Yeah.
Good crowd. There you see some people, Pat Butler, Janet Miller, and so forth, college regulars. And there we are right now. That was, I think, our first meeting. Okay, now I'm going to spotlight on the curriculum. And as usual, I'll be collective, but I'll get through this right away. What do we discuss at the College of Complexes? Well, number one has to be conspiracies. And there you have it, the deep state, the New World Order. There I've outlined it for you. If you were wondering who's participating in the New World Order, there's the hierarchy, you know, and Council of Foreign Relations there. Next. You got 9/11?
Yep.
Okay. And of course, an endless matter of controversy here is the 9/11 things about all the bombs and, you know, was it an inside job and how were the explosives used, things like that. The other one, of course, we just had this on the 22nd about the Kennedy. I like to see today, I came up with this fact, 82 people have claimed to have been the shooters who belong to 28 groups. And they shot from 2 different firing sites. I mean, they got shooting from all over the place. Actually, I did see an illustration. Somebody had there were multiple shooters in that book depository. I mean, he didn't have a chance. They were on the other side of the building, different floors. Next. Okay, the next topic that we often hear about is war and peace, of course. Now, what happened was you needed 10 members in order to start a chapter of the War Resisters League. I got 10 people from the college. It took me actually one evening, and I signed up 10 people to join the WRL. And that chapter is still alive and active today. But we have a chapter of the War Resisters League coming out of the college. Next. Okay, other obviously topic already has spoken to us on the Palestinian matter here. Dan Weinberg, spoken on over the years. Next. And of course, the ongoing situation in the Ukraine, which we've had actually amazingly some conflicting views and opinions on. Next. Now also the next category of things we've had at the college are nonprofit organizations. I believe every single nonprofit association organization in Chicago has made a presentation on their origins and ongoing activities, and many would assume the national groups. Those were always difficult to get because they didn't have somebody in Chicago who could make a presentation. But that Zoom has expanded that, and lately we've gotten many nationwide organizations who we'd never heard from before, but they just didn't have anybody in Chicago who was going to get up there and speak. But then again, you see one we just had here, Bill Bianchi, and a very good group, the Single Payer Group, Illinois Single Payers. Okay, other groups, we've had World Federalists is a group I belong to. When I was a young person, I was in the World Federalists, but we have different groups that show up. This is the one that want one world government, which is a good idea. Okay, other things, we had variations. We tried listening to a recording, a theatrically well-versed recording, and then discussing writings of Frederick Douglass. And then below that, you can see Bob Lickenberg, who's here tonight. You know, and for many years, and it's still in operation in some fashion, I believe, operated a philosophy discussion group, the Seekers, which was comprised almost entirely of people from the college complexes that met once a month to discuss philosophy. And that's a very interesting group. Thanks, Bob, for putting that on. Other associations we had, I gave a topic on this myself, Native American culture, but recently we had, spanning two associations as an example, Dr. Weiss, the American Indian Association, told us what's up with the Native American community. Now, I did a lecture on redoing the holidays during the year of the United States. And the January new holiday that I was suggesting in January was a National College of Complexes Day for discussing the direction of social progress. I think is a good idea. But okay, we're gonna almost there, not much longer. Bear with me. But we're gonna follow through the year. Some of the occasions that we had speakers or acknowledged during the course of the year. Now in February, we have President's Day. Very easy. We try to get something going on the chief executive. There are characters' destiny. What is America's destiny? Okay. Shooting on, then we come into March, and International Women's Day, which we featured speakers on feminist issues. And there you see the female version of the college. graduate. Okay. Now we're heading on into April. And very often we would have not just one, but as many as 4 programs on environment and ecology. And we even had a debate. Usually we had a debate because that topic lends itself to debate format. But Dennis Nelson was the steady standby speaker. I love this title he came up with, Contrasting Ecological Worldviews of the Neo-Malthusians versus the Cornucopians. I have no idea what the hell that means, but it was a pretty good talk. But all right, there you see what we did in April. Oh, I wanted to post these. These are something Peter Pearl kind of coaxed me into doing, little facts that I post on social media. And these are environmentally themed. Like one, is it predicted that due to climate change, all the snow that falls in a season will come down in one storm? The next one is if there is excessive sunlight on the earth, all the leaves and plants will first turn to dark green and maybe black. Anyhow, I was using these to attract attention to our Earth Day program. Also, you can see I gave a program here myself on Bigfoot, Sasquatch. There you can see the notice of the event. I don't know why this girl's afraid. Bigfoot's not going to hurt her. There's no reason to be afraid. But changing through April, we come into May 1st, always May 1st celebrated by somebody representative of organized labor. You know, the condition of organized labor. There you can see the IWW at the Wobblies. We hear that year. Here are some other years. We had the commies. And there you see recently Justin gave a talk. And there you can see. And after May Day, we would drift into July 1st, and we have American type themes. I still like this one. George Washington visited the college of complexes. Okay, now the presidential elections were another thing near the top of the list of election campaigns. I think at one year, a presidential election, I can't remember, we had not only 3, but as many as 4 registered candidates, registered with the Federal Election Commission, registered to become president of the United States. And even that at the Democratic Convention, we were involved in operating the free speech area outside of the convention hall. And I remember that was the one time we were in fact mentioned in the New York Times. But we had free speech outside of the Democratic Convention when it was held here in Chicago. Okay, here's another little thing just about our political series of speakers from another year. And there you see a thing about the Greens coming up with their what's ours? The Green Party was sending their candidates. Thank you. All right. Not only did we cover other aspects, not only just who was running for election, but how do you vote? And there you can see we were covering election reform. And Agasaki is here. I see David. There was an evening where we had the IPO here at the college. You hear David someplace? There you are. I gave you a plug. You can pay me later. All right, other thing, the political nature. I had a lot of fun with this one. We tried to keep it topical, but it was talk about, actually, I found out about this. It was actually an evening on the history of Canada. I found out too. But I was amazed that Canada had plans to invade us first. And other topics of a general nature fill out our curriculum, such as disability, accessibility, and then congestion in cars. Following the year, towards the end, we come to Labor Day. At the end, we would have a topic on labor issues. And there you see another program that we had on Labor Day. I was looking at this advertisement we had for this program. And if you look at the photo, it's a stock photo. The guy holding the cardboard box has nothing written on it. It's phony ad. That's what you use when you're after.
Yeah, you're supposed to put that in the Photoshop.
Yeah, oh well. No, I thought it would have some. They have other ones that say unite or revolt, or something like that. And then you come into December, which we had discussions of nutrition, nationalizing the U.S. food industry. Dan Weinberg's been kicking up all kinds of sand about Monsanto and phosphates and things like that they're spraying on the foods. And there's one by Tim did, because the title I could tell, Don't Toy with Santa. So we had a Christmas play. Okay, I don't know if you need to go through this real quickly. These are just some things I did to help draw interest to the college. The U.S. is planning to put a base on the moon with 20 astronaut soldiers. If we get a signal from space, we should not respond. Remain anonymous. You have on average 5,000 thoughts a day. I do. I'm more like 8 or 10. Next, I'm sorry, Tim. You got that one? 5,000. Oh,
Backed up.
5,000. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And the next one is our brain's going to grow smaller because of computers. Next. There was many stones quarried for the cathedrals in France alone, that more than for the pyramids. Now that's a lot of stone. And the other one is you can get a robot to raise your children, to teach them social skills. I was there when I was thinking about, would you get a liberal or a conservative one? Next. Oh, the last one is pterodactyls. Their stomachs. This is a fact. Paleontologists were discussing this, that they had hydrogen gas in their stomachs. That's why they floated. And the Washington Monument is designed to get you to look up to the Pleiades. Next. Okay, these are just, I'm not going to go through all of these. You can look it up on your own. These are on also the list is on the website. In the center, there's a link. You can see this needs to be updated. I have about 1,000 more titles I could go through to pick out choice or cool ones. So we'll be updating that. Next. That's why the radical right is wrong at the top. Okay. And next. And there you see lessons, the Russian Revolution. And last, next, and debate. Okay, and we'll close it out at that, and thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you, Charlie.
You taking questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, let's go with online with Joe first. Were you wanting to speak, Joe, or you want a question?
I would like to speak next. Have me after questions.
All right.
Thanks.
So Charlie said questions.
Yeah, he's taking
If they
questions.
want a few questions.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with Kathy Powers first from the internet.
What?
You said-
Joe, let's just agree with what we're doing.
I'm so glad to be here because I was able to present about my problems with transportation and disability, and the reception was so warm, and I feel like I actually made some people understand what's going on as far as disability and transportation goes. I am so grateful because people don't get it. They just don't get it. But you guys did, and it's wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity.
Hey, Justin, take over.
All right. Are we doing questions or are we just going open?
No questions.
No questions. All right.
Later on, if you want.
So if you want to speak to talk on the college, let's go. Let's come up. We already said we'd.
Yeah,
Joe.
Joe wants to go next.
So let's
Joe,
start with Joe. Everybody else, if they want to talk on the college, please make a cue, and we'll begin. You all got 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Joe,
Can you hear me? This is Bill Lee.
we can hear you,
Yeah.
Joe.
Okay.
Okay.
That was someone else. Someone else is trying to speak. I'm going to go for 5 minutes. Charlie mentioned that hobo colleges transition into the Bughouse Square debates, soapbox speakers. I wanted to read a small portion of an article I wrote in 2014 about this. There was a group called the International Brotherhood Welfare Association, IBWA. It was a mutual aid society for traveling workers, commonly referred to as hobos, which existed from 1905 to the mid-20s. For some context about terminology, a hobo is possibly short for homeless boy. A hobo is a traveling worker, while a tramp works only when necessary, while a bum avoids work. So hobos and bums are not the same thing. The IBWA was less militant and less numerous than the IWW, and the IBWA was supportive of the IWW most of the time, but they remained separate, and the IBWA survived multiple failed attempts by the IWW to take it over. There was a guy named James Eads Howe, H-O-W, known as the Millionaire Hobo, and he wanted to make hobos not only better citizens, but better hobos, and wanted the public to appreciate what the beat is, what his rights are, and how it should be looked upon. And beat is short for beaten down, which means tired or exhausted. The IBWA was centered in the Midwest, had presence in about 20 cities, primarily St. Louis, Chicago, I think it was Kansas City, and they graduated hobos at one point over 100 a year. Subjects covered at these colleges range from philosophy to literature to religion, with lectures given by street orators and academics alike, as well as social science, industrial law, vagrancy laws, public speaking, job searching, the 8-hour workday, pensions, unemployment, and disease awareness, and later on contraception when the hobo doctor Ben Reitman, a friend of Emma Goldman's, got involved. The goals of the IBWA were to bring together the unorganized workers, cooperate to better social conditions, and utilize unused land and machinery in order to provide work for the unemployed. And my theory is that the IWW didn't really like them that much and tried to take them over because they wanted to give unemployed workers the skills to become workers, teach them how to become organized, i.e. unionized, and the more people who are working and unionized, the more it cuts into the pay of people who are already unionized. So there's also this guy, James Eads Howe, the Millionaire Hobo. He was an heir of a wealthy St. Louis family, but chose to spend his money, which he considered that he hadn't earned it, that he had just inherited it. So he spent it to keep the IBWA alive. Just skip forward this. Let me read part of a Wikipedia article on James Eads Howe. I'll just take one more minute. The hobo colleges, which Howe started in several cities, primarily offered lodging and meals, but as the name implies, also education and a place to meet. The education would be scheduled certain nights and included basic lessons in social science. I'm going to skip over that, so I already said that. The lectures were held by street orators as well as academics, and the discussions were known to be very lively. They also served as community meeting places where the homeless workers could express themselves. Hobo College was held mainly in winter when there were fewer jobs and more hobos in the cities. I just wanted to say, since we're in the business of offering free meals to people who give presentations at the college, I think we should go out of our way to recruit homeless members, have them give presentations, and do what we, in a manner of speaking, used to do 100 years ago, which is feed in addition to educating the homeless. And, yeah, if you want to learn more about this, you can look up the IBWA, James Eads Howe, H-O-W, and Dr. Ben Reitman, the hobo doctor. Thanks.
Okay, our next speaker, please. Everybody's got about 5 minutes.
Yes, we know.
My name is Karina Schussheim. I want to first start off by thanking Charlie Paidock and Tim Bulger for all the work they've done to keep the college running. I have many memorable moments about the college. I had asked John Adel, who runs the plant, to come and talk. He owned a large industrial building, and it was filled with a lot of environmentally friendly not-for-profit organizations. I had asked a lot of people if they would show up because I was terrified about not having anyone in the audience. I remember asking Margaret and Frank Aguilar, who now live in Spain, and hitting up people personally to show up for this talk. And I even led a bike ride from Daly Plaza to the College of Complexes at that time that was at the Lincoln Restaurant. And it ended up being a full house, and John Adel ended up getting a standing ovation. Now, Charlie had already been at the college, and Charlie had already had a seat. And by the time I arrived, all the seats were taken. But Charlie stood up, and he, with no obligation whatsoever, he let me sit in his seat. And that was a very magnanimous of him. I also remember Doc Mike Whitort, and he had a video, and he was giving a well-endowed woman a breast massage to release the toxins that she had after having a boob job. And I was sitting next to Ernie and Pat Butler, and Pat Butler turned the shade of the ketchup bottle and then asked if he could get similar work. And then I remember the three views we had on Scrooge, whether the Charles Dickens book, Christmas Tale, whether that was a work of communist propaganda or just a wholesome book for kids. And then I also remember Tim's excellent talks. He gave a talk about coffee. He gave a talk about economic history with the major political economists in the past. And he's given a lot of wonderful talks, as well as participated in debates like one I had about Walmart. So it's been a good ride.
Okay, next is Liz. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Tina Padilla, and this is my second College of Complex course. Thank you, everyone who is part of this organization and makes it happen. The first event was when my friend Sonia Perdue wrote a book asking the African Americans the tough questions, and she was going to write a sequel to it. Today, I am here because I started a nonprofit after I retired from 34 years of teaching mathematics with CPS, Chicago Public Schools. And my last 12 years, I sat on the Chicago Teacher Pension Fund, where I learned a lot about how fraudulently misrepresented we were. So when I retired, after being abused not only on the job, but also at the board, I was censored. And that's a whole different story. I'll tell you more about that when the book comes. But really, I'm here to represent myself and my nonprofit, which is called the Pension Advocacy Group. I am starting with the Chicago Teacher Pension Fund, which is a defined benefit. And for the past 12 years of me sitting on the board, we had a lot of, I guess, the defined contribution. I don't know if you understand the difference between the defined benefit and the defined contribution. Okay. So my work is to educate our members, starting with the teachers, about what a defined benefit is and how it's the gold standard of retirement saving, and the defined contribution people who are trying to come and take over the retirement savings industry is a subprime substitution. So I'm trying to stop that. Also trying to restore some of the bad legislation that came down the pipe. And I have done the history. I have the history. I am writing a curriculum to train trustees who sit on the Chicago Teacher Pension Fund. Again, my petri dish, I guess, or my test group is the Chicago Teacher Pension Fund. Again, a defined benefit plan that I believe everyone is entitled to. Entitled, not that the other entitlement, but you worked for this money. This is your deferred income that people are trying to move into something that is subpar to what the gold standard should be for not only educators, but all labor that put in their time and work to make other people rich. And when we get to a stage, whether it's disability or old age, we have earned this entitlement, which is called the defined benefit, which we have. It is basically maintenance. So when we can no longer do the job that is making our income to sustain our life, we have that piece. It's only 75% of what we originally were making, but nonetheless, it is very important to me that people understand the difference and help protect defined benefits for everyone. That's it.
All right.
Who's next? Who's next?
Who's next? Is everybody online?
Nobody online. Go ahead, Alan.
So tell me when to stop, okay?
We will.
Okay, yeah. Yes, okay. I'm Ellen Corley, and I do love this free speech forum. I love the College of Complexes. I really do thank Charlie and Tim and everybody for this. I came here maybe 10 years ago, probably, when I ran into Don and Doug Binkley and at a United for Democracy Now meeting. I had just gotten active. I was by joining the the Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action group, that I was a fellow, and really woke me up. I was basically not working anymore, and I got the just the idea of being an organizer is a really good training. It's a pick an issue, find the coalitions, and create an event. And so we picked gun violence, and because 2 or 3 women, there were 12 of us, had her children had been killed by guns and one hurt. And, so we looking for coalitions. I found that was the interesting part, the Alliance Against Racist Political Oppression. I saw what good job they had handing out, getting signatures, how to really organize a community, as opposed to political organizing, which seemed like it was just to get that candidate elected. And, but so I think that's what bringing us to here. The opportunity here has been, to give us a chance. Actually, Don told me this at the beginning, that we can give 3-minute talk at the end, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about the topic. And, it's very similar. I got into AA 25 years ago, and that same experience was very powerful. You go around the room, you got 3 minutes, or, 2 or 1, to just say what comes to you. And it was really good to get over what should I say? That natural tendency to, you're on a board. I'm on the board of directors of Junior League. And I remember a woman passed me a note and said, speak up. It was really meaningful, to be given the encouragement to speak up. And women speak differently than our organizations are different than male organizations. And that's something that we need to keep working on. The role of women, like seeing Charlie's sister here, it means a lot to have her here, I think. We need more women speaking up, raising their hand to run for office. I now, as a result of being around here about 10 years, have went out and got 1,500 signatures, and I'm on the ballot now to run for the U.S. Congress in the 5th District of Illinois. And thank you, yay! It really is. It's empowering. There's still a childish insecurity in there somewhere, but we have to lean into it. We have to, find our voice, right? And, dare to speak out, as, a great book by Gary Allen. James Perloff, who's one of my favorite deep state Christian writers, said that he gave a talk and he said, reading Dare to Speak Out by Gary Allen, or no, I think that's what it was. That's also Paul Finley and Cynthia McKinney, but I think none dare call it treason is Gary Allen's, and also George Orwell said, dare to, we have to say what they don't want us to say. Everything else is public relations. It's hard to do, and especially, if I was a market researcher in corporation, it's hard to do, especially if you're going against the party line, but as now, retired, 70 years old, I do plan to keep saying what they don't want me to say, which turns out to be that we need to clean house. Okay, it's time. How much time do I have, Justin?
You're up. Time's up.
Time's up. Okay. So anyhow, vote for me. I'm going to keep speaking out, and hopefully we'll do it here. So thank you.
All right, who's next?
Who's next?
DJ.
Who's up? Does anybody online want to go?
Nobody's online that wants to go right now. Bill, want to go to Bill? Good.
I'll go.
Testing. All right, Kelvin, we'll get you next. Okay, Kelvin.
Okay. This is just, I think I may have talked about this before, but it's worth saying it again. Can you imagine going to your local newsstand, whether it be in Walmart or a bodega, and asking for a copy of USA Today and being told, no, we don't stock that? And the reason for that being because the USA Today had published lies about people of your city. Can you imagine that? Well, if you come to Liverpool and you try and buy a copy of the Sun newspaper, which is the largest selling newspaper in the UK, you won't be able to buy it. Because in 1989, there was a terrible football disaster in Hillsborough, in Sheffield, Yorkshire. 97 people were killed in a crush. It was a terrible accident. It was the fault of the police and the authorities there. It was one of those terrible mismanagements. The game was running late. The television were waiting to start the game, and they didn't want to delay the game because it was scheduled to come on television. But there was a delay because the freeway was blocked up and a lot of fans didn't get there late. So what they did is they opened up the exit gate Let everybody in. And everybody rushed in, as people do. And then as they rushed in, everything crowded in. And 97 people were killed. The next day, in collusion with the authorities, the newspapers, the tabloid newspapers, in particular the Sun, wrote terrible lies about the people, about the supporters. And bear in mind that the only emergency services there was one St. John's ambulance. That's all. That's for an entire football stadium. That was the only medical services available. And fans were ripping up billboards and using them as makeshift stretchers and taking them up, carrying injured people onto the pitch, trying to save these people. And this Sun newspaper wrote terrible lies. He said that the fans were stealing from the dead. They were urinating on the dead. I mean, we didn't want it. This is something we could. They were hounding the families of the deceased, trying to get a story out of them, trying to banging on their door and their window, trying to get a story. They were merciless. We kind of accept the paparazzi when it comes to celebrities. But these weren't celebrities, these were ordinary working people. And the Liverpool people with campaigned for years. It took decades. It did take decades. But we finally got a full inquest, unbiased inquest, where all the evidence was shown, and it was shown that the police were at fault. But that wasn't the end of the story. We were not going to put up with the Sun newspaper telling lies about the people of Liverpool, right? Irrespective of which team you supported, because there are other teams, and Liverpool is just two major teams. And so the mothers got together and they went round every single newspaper vendor, from Walmart to the small bodega, and said, do not sell the Sun. Join the campaign. And you cannot buy that newspaper in this city. Biggest Murdoch newspaper in the country. You can't buy it in this city. And it shows what can happen when people of different views get together in a common cause. And you can affect change. It may take some time. It's not easy, but you can affect change.
All right.
He's got my vote.
Okay. All right, Kelvin, is that it?
All right. Let's go to Bob.
Okay. All right, Bob Lichtenberg, and who wants? Okay.
Hey guys, Bob is talking. It's time for Bob.
Yeah, I'm Bob Lichtenberg, as most of you know. And
Guys,
I
quiet.
thank Charlie and Tim profusely for keeping the college alive, especially these last few years.
Yeah.
Yes.
And profuse thanks to both of them. I've been coming to the college since 1979 till the COVID pandemic, when everyone stopped coming and didn't come back because they got too old in the meantime. So I've had many memorable moments, but it'd be very hard for me to recall one of them from 79. I do like it. Bill Webb is very memorable. He used to give Charlie a hard time all the time. We call him Mr. You don't remember? You don't remember? Oh, let's see. But the time I remember the best was on February 17th, 2020. Question?
One fool, please.
Oh, yeah, one full at a time. On February 17, 2023, I gave a talk on love. That was my most memorable moment. With your indulgence, I'd like to do that again, at least say a little bit about what love is, since we have plenty of time tonight. What is love? always define your vague and ambiguous terms as soon as they're introduced. I define love. Wow, geez, it's indefinable for Christ's sake. But I would define it as just a strong feeling of affection towards something. Strong affection towards something is love. That's what love is. But once we see it's unique, it's different every time, every case, every situation. Love is different. However, it's very complex. It's not simple. It's very complicated. You can love anything, anyone, anytime, anywhere. Stop me if I go on too long. So love is spiritual. It's what I call an intangible. And I argue a lot for intangibles in my book. I give 6 arguments for intangibles. Charlie didn't like them, but I'll get to that later. Love is the most common theme in the arts, especially music, especially where you can feel the love. Can't think much about it. It has nothing to do with thinking. But you can feel a lot of love in music and painting and the movies. The most common theme in all the arts. It's the highest personal virtue that you could have is love. If you're looking to be the best person you could be, then be loving. And that means have strong affection. As I said at the very start, is something. Love is also intimate. It's close. You're getting close to some other part of reality. You're getting passionate about it. Committed to them. You care about them. As Aristotle, who's a very concrete philosopher, wrote, love is the willing the good of another. It's also very dry. The Greeks, like Aristotle, were smarter than us. They had 6 words for love. We got 1. That's not enough. We need many more. There's many different kinds of love. But the Greeks had 6. That's good. What do you think the highest was? Anyone know the highest?
Agape.
Who?
Agape?
Yeah, exactly. Agape. Unconditional love. Agape. What's the lowest form of love, Ellen?
Lust.
You're close. You're close. You just need the word. You're going away.
Hey guys, one quick.
Oh, Eros. Eros.
Okay.
Erotic love, sexual love was the lowest for the Greeks. How about the Asians, the other side of the world? What's love for them? Well, according to the greatest thinker in the Far East, Confucius, he wrote that love is having the right duty and attitudes. That's not love. I don't think they did a good job of that. Now look at China. Terrible. So love is very important.
Thanks, Bob. Time's up.
Yeah, we love no other speakers.
I think it's Eric, and then who else wants to go? This gentleman.
Okay.
And then I'll go after this gentleman.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
What is love? Love. I love all of you.
All right, guys, one fool at a time. Take it away, Eric.
This fool is on the podium. I'm Eric Mao. I discovered this. I don't remember how exactly I discovered this, but first time I was here in 2023.
Time, guys.
2023 October. That's when Dr. David Steele gave a speech about the global multipolarity, and we met. So I met a lot of good friends here, like Justin, Dan, Ernie, Karina, through David Steele, or through here. Ricardo, we just met. Of course, not to mention Tim and Charlie. Until today, I thought you were AI generated on the internet. Today, I see the person in the flesh. Okay, now I'm more comfortable.
Singularity.
So after I started coming here, I signed myself up for probably 3 or 4 presentations in short spurt. And so much, there's this lady told Charlie, say, we have too much of Eric. We need to find someone else to speak more instead of Eric. So that's when about the time I stopped speaking here as a presenter. But I have my own. In the parallel, I run a group called the Geopolitical Forum, which started in April 2023. And then probably starting in 2024, January, we have a speaker each meeting. Well, we don't have meeting every Saturday. We're meeting like 2 or 3 times a month. That's a good month. Or 2 times a month. That's a kind of average month. And then sometimes I fill in as a presenter. So that worked out for me. And I had a lot of fun. I also have my friends from here coming over to my geopolitical forum. So I think it's great. I have good memories here. Okay, let's not talk about memories because I believe this will continue, college complexes, and I want to see it continue. And I will, when I can, where I can, I will contribute to this continuation because I feel part of it, and I really do want to see it continue. And between geopolitical forum and college complexes, we can find ways to cooperate, to exchange or compensate each other. I got a lot of ideas from college complexes. For example, recording the proceeding for the meeting and put it online. I think I got the idea from here. And I also learned some procedural things from Tim. And so that's great. I think we can continue to find ways to cooperate to make each other better, more fun. And in the meantime, before I end, I'd like to inform you of a meetup that we have at Geopolitical Forum. That's kind of unusual one because we usually have a fixed place meetup. But tomorrow we will meet at the campaign headquarters of a Senate candidate named Casey Klebeck.
He's got my vote.
Tomorrow, 11 o'clock, the address is 110 West Higgins Road, Park Ridge. That's his campaign headquarters. We're going to meet there at 11 o'clock for 2 hours. So I hope you guys can be there. I think for one thing, it would be nice to meet someone who could be our next senator from Illinois, right? Who knows? And I like his common sense about international relations. Also, of course, as a Senate candidate, he will cover domestic issues. Mainly his platform is a lot of tax cuts or abolition of taxes, that sort of thing. I hope you'll be there. I will be there for the second time because that previous time is less formal. So I decided I want to bring it to my member at Geopolitical Forum. So I want to bring it here so you guys are informed. If you have time interested, you can come tomorrow. Again, the 110 West Higgins in Park Ridge at 11 o'clock tomorrow. All right. Thanks for the opportunity to come here, have so much fun, making so many friends. And I hope this will continue. I will see more of you in the future.
Okay, we're going online for a couple more. Going online for a couple of them, Bill. We'll get you in I got 2 speakers online. We'll get you in after that. Bill, you're next, and then we'll go with Kathy. Bill, go ahead. Unmute and get yourself going.
One flip time, guys.
You got to unmute, Bill. We can't hear you yet, but it's just unmute.
Oh, this guy.
Hang on.
Who's like Eric's energy.
I know. You having some trouble unmuting, Bill? No? Okay, we'll go to Kathy next. All right, Kathy, unmute and we'll get you up.
Hi, I want to update you on something that Fran Tobin made a presentation last year about. We were trying to get a bill through through the General Assembly and the Senate to stop retaliation in nursing homes. He discussed how terrible it is in nursing homes, how if anybody complains about maybe the food, then they don't feed them. Or if they complain about getting a medicine, it's a wrong medicine, so then they don't get their medicine. Or if they complain about, somebody didn't get them to the bathroom in time, then like for 2 days, nobody would come. So that was what we were dealing with, and it was very difficult. It was more difficult than we had ever imagined to get it through. I had no idea that the nursing home industry is so mega, so corrupt, and has paid every legislator mega bucks to their campaign funds and probably behind, deep dark stuff too. So our main opponent, we got it through the General Assembly, but when it got to the Senate, we were trying to get it through. And Don Harmon, let me tell you, Senator Don Harmon holds back every single beneficiary thing that can be done. He has all the money. In fact, he was indicted for taking too much campaign money, but they decided that that's okay. They weren't going to penalize him. That was recent. We got the bill through. It took us 3 years to get the bill through. It's against the law anyway for them to retaliate, but we wanted to put some teeth in the bill. And I just want to tell you that part of Fran's presentation here certainly probably made a difference. And I want to thank everybody because we got the bill through. Of course, now there's more problems with the feds cutting back on having enough staff and stuff like that. So the war continues, but I want to thank you. Some things have helped. We've gotten some people out of the nursing homes, and that's wonderful too. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, Bill, you're next.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, so thanks for Charlie being a great leader here. Charlie, how long have you been in charge?
40.
44 college accomplishments?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many?
40.
Oh, 40.
25 and 15 at least.
So about 1985.
Before that. 81.
85 around there. Okay. All right. Well, great job. Yeah. Anyway, earlier we had a little get together. This is like a transition meeting, and Charlie's. I guess a few of you guys were here earlier, and there was some agreement, some accord on how we're going to go ahead moving forward. Charlie's involvement and the structure and everything's going to kind of stay pretty much the way it is. Try to get little refinements and improvements and stuff. But here's what we really need. Charlie worked really hard the last 4 or 6 months on getting speakers to fill out the days. Now I want all of you to think, do you have a topic up here that you'd really like to talk about, or come up here and present, or put a couple graphics up here? Hopefully in the future we have more graphics, more PowerPoints. We don't have to see these people the whole presentation. Graphics are a lot of times very powerful. It put President Reagan in office because he used lots of graphics when he was running. Anyway, so if you know of anybody else that you think would be a good speaker, I'm not a good speaker, but I try to be. But if you know anybody else that's pretty knowledgeable in certain areas, I don't care if it's politics, it's other countries, it's local, it's beefs, it's something that's important that's not talked about, any kind of subject matter. We're going to kind of open things up to some different ideas, right, Tim?
Yeah, if we can, it's we book them, we'll get them through and see what we can do.
No, we're looking.
Hey, one full at a time, guys.
Well, go ahead, Charlie.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so anybody start networking and say we do need somebody. It's an hour presentation, and the rest is Q&A or rebuttals. That's about it. So start thinking about it. We are good. Charlie exhausted his speakers pretty much. He's got a few more coming up, but we're going to need other folks and go up high with people. And then, but if you think he'd be a great speaker, or say, I want you just an hour, well, it doesn't have to be all just us. I'll probably do a speech. Peter, you're shaking your head. Yeah. Any of you guys, you ever wanted to talk about a certain subject, do the research, do some graphics, photos, graphs, charts. They're always helpful too. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Jake, you're up next. You got 5 minutes. You're online, Jake. Unmute, Jake. 6157. Is that
Okay,
Jake?
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, happy 75th birthday. Is there a birthday cake there? I'd like to have some. Yeah, I wasn't around from the beginning. I came in kind of late, and I've enjoyed some of the programs that I've heard. Yeah, we've had some good programs here. I wanted to say there used to be an offshoot of the college called the Social Issues Roundtable. Does anybody here remember that? It's with a guy by the name of Lyle Despain. I think they disbanded a long time ago, but some of the same people were there, and I can't remember where we were meeting. There was an older guy. He's probably long gone. There's an older guy by the name of Lincoln Edmonds. Does anybody here remember him? He was friends with Slim Bundage. I think the story goes that it was right after Slim Bundage died. I don't remember the date. He was on his way to a memorial service for Slim Bundage. He fell down right outside the Belmont L stop, and the police found him lying on the ground. So they called the ambulance, got him to the hospital. A couple of weeks later, he ended up dying of congestive heart failure. He was in his 80s. Interesting guy. He was an older guy. I knew him from other places. I knew him from the Ethical Humanist Society, and I knew him from, he'd show up at places like Commonwealth Edison rate hike hearings before the Illinois Commerce Commission, and he'd wait there for hours for a chance to speak. And he'd sit there scribbling his notes in this very archaic writing style, and do these little doodles on his notepads while he was doing it. After he died, they did a memorial service for him at his lawyer's office, Pat Giordano. There's a small handful of us down there. This was years ago. I don't remember the date. Anyway, yeah, we've had some good programs, and it's 75 years. I wish there were a birthday cake there. If not, let's make one. And happy 75th, and let's keep it going for another 75 years.
Okay, Peter Perro, you're next.
All right.
Peter, get up to the mic, Peter.
I'm so glad to see old friends again, and mourning for those who can't be here. But it's been a good ride since, for me, the 1980s to the present, and just terrific times. But I represent the Maxwell Street Foundation. We beat the college by about 40 more years because we were put together in 1916 when Maxwell was an immigrant Weeble, you might say, or Marshall Field for the immigrant. All sorts of things happened on Maxwell. And I won't go into all the illegal parts, but yes, some of that was going on. And they say if you lost your hubcaps on Saturday night, you'd have them back Sunday if you walked to Maxwell Street. But no, for the most part, it was gainful employment for Eastern European and Jewish in the beginning, peddlers who could make some money. Still today, it's largely Latino. God knows what will happen this spring. It'll be a lot of empty chairs at Maxwell Street, and black, and of course, white shoppers and vendors. That's what we do. And we have a hard time sustaining it given the budget in, before Mr. Johnson, and with Mr. Johnson now, we have a tough time with keeping those tents up in the heat, bringing in vendors, food vendors, trying to keep it safe, but have some cooking space there. And we still last there. If you were a teenager growing up and selling things with your parents, shout out here. We always like to interview on tape people who know Maxwell Street. Somebody who knew it, and by the way, yeah, what we do is to publish the unpublished sorts of books that aren't going to be seen in Barnes and Noble or, God help us, Amazon. But Maxwell also now has money to publish some important books. And one of the early ones was the history of the Haymarket riot. And if you knew anyone here, I bet Charlie knows the author, Bill Edelman.
He spoke here.
He spoke here, and he also ran for Congress but failed. But Bill tried his hardest not to be a pie in the sky academic, but at UIC, or Circle Campus, they called it back when Edelman was popular. These are the things he wanted to put out, people's histories, and students could buy these, especially for his class. And he's the one guy who appealed to young students at UIC and older union leaders who got certificates from Urbana, actually, by putting together not a degree program, but important themes in the history of labor and how to bring those kind of themes back. That's Bill Edelman. So we published this one, and I put some in the back tonight if you care to look at Bill's book. We also picked up, well, no, there was two things tonight, Maxwell and what Maxwell is doing to publish. History of Studs Terkel in Chicago, and we all know about him, so I won't talk long about him and his time on WFMT radio.
No.
We've got it. What'd you say? About Studs. Yeah, the last two books were fantastic. I met him one time after the speech, and he was in the elevator, so he couldn't evade me, and I was in the elevator. To my surprise, doors opened, the electric doors opened, and there was Studs and someone to help him in a wheelchair. And he's not a capitalist, as Charlie warns us, never be a capitalist. But he said, how'd I do? How many books did I sell? And I thought, I'd never hear it from Studs. Another that's been popular, Chicago comedy. No one's done the history of comedy. So from Charlie Chaplin to Belushi and Aykroyd, they're in the book. Lots of photos, so we've used them in high school classrooms.
We have another one online now. Bill, go ahead.
Good. Put in there, and
you're up for 5 minutes, Phil.
Thanks, Tim. Hey, just let me know when I hit 5, and then I'll finish my sentence. I was first here in, I think, 2011, 10th anniversary of September 11th. We okay with sound?
Yes, we're okay with sound.
Okay, great. So my expertise, of course, is the events of September 11th. My working definition of conspiracy theory people is they are someone who believes and promotes conspiracy theories, but are unaware of basic facts, yet they see themselves as serious investigators. Now, I'll take any questions. Anybody wants anything cleared up about the official story that people don't understand? If anybody wants to throw a question real quick, I'll answer it.
Now we want to skip it to
Yep.
the
good enough.
Because we could go down that rabbit hole real quick.
Oh, I was just using up the 5 minutes. In any case, oh, dancing Israelis. That's good. Good question. I'm going to cover that. Okay. So there were 5 Israelis that worked at a moving company called Urban Moving Systems, right? So they were seen photographing the towers burning, right? So a woman called in with suspicious activity. So they put out a alert for this van with Urban Moving Systems. They even had the license plate numbers. Anyways, so the police, this is the East Rutherford Police Department, sees the van in New Jersey, stops it. And there's 5 Israelis in it of this moving company. And imagine that, they actually found box cutters in a moving van company. So, or a moving company in the van. Now, the reports of the stop, the news reports, and a CBS affiliate said that there was bombs, or they found a bomb inside the van. And Dan Rather, he actually reported that in his newscast, which he got from this affiliate. Now, the real story is they brought in a dog sniffer who had a hit on some of the carpeting. So they cut out the carpeting. So obviously there was never a bomb inside it. There were just things that the dog took a hit on that had the smell of bomb material. Also, the other thing about, everybody says that $4,000 were found in one of the guy's socks. Some of you people know that and have heard that and repeat that. Now, if you're ever doing research, never single source and go to the source material. So if you go to the official police report of the East Rutherford Police Department, it identifies that $4,700 was found in a white sock-like object. Okay, so now you can quit saying that $4,000 was found in his sock, because it's not true. Bill Lee. So yeah, the 5 Israelis, right. They were probably working illegally at this moving company. This is what I suspect. A lot of people come over on student visas and then go make money with a company. So they're here on an illegal work. Well, they didn't have a work visa. So that's pretty much covers that. They weren't there before the building were hit. They admitted our purpose, right. They admitted their purpose was to document the event. Yes. Every newscast, the helicopters, the cameras, everyone was there to document the event. They were there to document the event as well. Does that mean any of them knew it was going to happen beforehand? What do you think? So anyways, so I guess we're going to do a rebuttal sort of thing at the end, or is this it?
I think that
I think we'll have maybe.
It depends on how many more speakers we got.
Why were they dressed as Arabs? They weren't. That was false reporting. See, you have to go to the original source and never single source. So that was true. Said they looked, yeah, right. So they're wrong. It was wrong. And no, that was a false report. Anyways, so a lot of false reports. Palestinians are Arabs, yeah, but we're talking about Israelis, so it doesn't matter.
Single source.
How much time we got?
You got 13 seconds.
Okay, let's see. Interesting about the collapse of the towers. It was the sound of it was divided in thirds. 1/3 said it sounded like a freight train. 1/3 said it sounded like a jet engine going off. and about less than a third heard explosions. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, good seeing you.
Hello, hi. My name is also Ellen, and first I just wanted to thank Charles Paidock and Tim Bolger for all their hard work all of these years. They're very commendable. They've really kept it going. And, you know, the college has been really a great source of friendship for me and social activity. I remember when we were at the Lincoln restaurant, some of the college students would, first of all, at the Lincoln restaurant, we met from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. But after that, we would have an after party, some of us. So, you know, we would be hanging out until the wee hours of the morning. So that was fun. And, you know, I think many of you remember Jeffrey Schromick. He was an important person in my life for a long time. He used to moderate here. He has since passed away. But I remember, like, one person we went to the after party with was Gary Dolman. I think he attended the college at times. Last I heard, he's not living in the United States anymore, but he introduced me to the concept of the fully informed jury movement, which I think the Supreme Court did rule against. However, I think it has some, you know, has some important things to it. Maybe it's an important concept about when you're on a jury, voting your conscience. And you don't have to tell the judge or the other jury members that you're voting your conscience. You can just go ahead and do it. I wanted to mention, if somebody does give a speech here, they don't have to speak the full hour. So, you know, if you only have like a half an hour or, you know, 40, 45 minutes, that I think that's okay too. I remember hearing NARAL give a presentation. They gave a short presentation. This was back at the Lincoln restaurant, but I thought it was really interesting, the things that were brought up, and I really enjoyed the presentation and all the things that came with it, despite it being short. I remember in September of 2011, there was a professor, I think from Columbia University, who gave a lecture about death and dying. Unfortunately, I don't think that ever got posted. It was an excellent presentation. Fortunately, I had a friend who was having like a medical emergency, so I wasn't able to hear the question and answer period. But it was an excellent. If he's still alive and giving presentations, it would be great to have him back. Don suggested that the people on Zoom for the college give $3 in order to donate, because, you know, when you're here in the restaurant, you give $3. Anyway, so I just wanted to say maybe we could think about that, or maybe we could think about suggesting to them when they come online to the Zoom that they give $3. My 5 minutes are up.
Well, we can do that through a Patreon.
I have a minute. Okay.
10 seconds.
Okay. And anything. Oh, okay. And I would just like to say, there's been a lot of interesting conversation. I can't remember who spoke this one time, but there was some kind of speaker, and I think he was pro-torture, of suspected terrorists. And I remember arguing with him afterwards, so it was a good time. I think there was a speaker who was pro-torture of terrorists, as many people are, but and I think now is the time where there is a lot of political censorship going on. It's a very sad time in our history. But even before this current administration, there was a lot of efforts to censor. So this is a serious issue, and I'm glad that we have the College of Complexes where people can speak their mind. There's a free speech forum to it, and I think that's very important. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Ernie, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. I want to thank Charlie and all the other people who made the College of Complexes what it is. Because for me, for now at least, many, many years, it's been a very important part of my education and social life, my life that goes beyond career and beyond family. Since I don't have a career anymore or active raising a family, it's even more important than it has been. I've spent many an evening enjoying and learning at this venue. I went early on when it was still downtown somewhere, and I've not been able to figure out where it is. We're talking probably in the 70s. I went a couple of times and then lost track of the college for more than 20 years. Ran into Bill Wendt. Some of you will remember Bill Wendt because he had been at those early college meetings. He was handing out schedules at the Architectural Center Wednesday lunch programs they used to have. And I started coming again in early 2001 and have been coming on and off ever since. I came often with a friend by the name of Tom Wythe, who we hung out a lot in those days. And you can kind of tell what swinging studs Tom and I were, because I'd say 8 out of 10 Saturdays we ended up here. Okay. This group, in addition to having great programs, a lot of informative stuff, it's led me to some other groups. The Dallas College of Complexes, they still meet most Thursday nights. It's more of a discussion group than like this group. I enjoy that anyway. David Ramsey Steele, met him here, heard him 2 or 3 times, and have been now going to his libertarian group. I'm not a libertarian, but it's a very interesting group of people. And also to Eric Mao's group, the Geopolitical Forum. I met Eric here, and that led me to that group as well, which is very good. I made a few presentations, have always enjoyed doing it, and I'm hoping to do some more in the not too distant future. Now, we all got a little bit of a scare recently when Charlie said, after a mere 40 years of doing this, that he was going to step down. And some of us feared that this could be the end of it. We certainly didn't want that. And a lot of us have been talking. We had a meeting earlier today, which Mike Lehman referred to. And we made some progress in how we're going to keep things going, especially in terms of getting speakers. But there are other things, too, that were discussed. We've kind of opened up some avenues of discussion with Charlie. Because at some point or another, all of us here will be pushing up daisies. And it is our hope that the college will still go on. It's a worthwhile organization. And so we discussed and made a list of the types of things we could each do to help. So if anybody has any time, is willing to help get speakers or do any of the other work to make the college work, you can, of course, talk to Charlie. He's here. And I've been making a list of some of the things that people have volunteered to do and are willing to do to keep things going here. It's been, for me, it's only been maybe 25 years, but for 75 years of a good cultural organization for the city, be great if it goes for another 75 years. Thank you.
All right.
Very good. Very good. I
will be brief. I've been coming to the college since 1998, and it was through, I found out about it through, at the time, there was an Art Bell Chat Club meeting, and Bill Wendt was at that meeting, and we went later on with a friend of mine by the name of Allie, and we wound up coming to the college. After the first meeting, I got hooked. I didn't start coming around regularly till about maybe 98, 99, and then every so often I would, miss, but regularly I've been running the video and everything else. It's about 2010. There is an extensive archive. I'd honestly thought that the organization was going to die at the end of February because there was lack of interest. We weren't seeing a lot of attendance, but based on you guys coming up and coming out again and wanting to keep it going, I'll keep going myself. And the only thing I ask for is a little help every so often to help share the meetings or record them. And, every Saturday, there's a few things I do want to do on a Saturday besides the college, but that's not going to be often. I will help out, and I'm going to commit myself to, helping out and doing what I can. But we will need some people back here. And usually, I've shut down. I'm a member of Toastmasters. I've had to shut down at least 2 clubs due to non-participation, and you need about 5 to 6 people to really keep an organization going. There are some governance things that I've learned from Toastmasters that could readily apply here, but that's going to be all done by consensus. As far as my concern about speaking, we got some. I think this forum is really needed at this point, especially with the 250th anniversary coming up. Our so-called President Donald Trump and his machinations on our liberties, more time that we need to keep going on it. And tonight, we got another enemy tonight for at least a few more hours, and that's those cheeseheads up in Wisconsin. Yeah. So let's go Bears.
All right. Go Bears. Go Bears.
All right. Go Bears. All right, who's next? All right, Jake, you got your hand up.
Now we're going to rebuttal.
All right, rebuttals. Andy, you want to go?
3 minutes. How long do we want our rebuttals to be?
All right. Andy wants to go. It's still.
Someone wants to talk again.
Someone wants to talk again.
Yeah, just
go ahead, Andy.
Be a rebuttal. No speeds.
Yeah, bears are over there.
Well, that's what I don't need. When adults play them, they hurt themselves. That's what there's a thing. The wrong value. And we worship physical.
He's already heard that.
Actions.
What? 5 minutes, Andy. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you all.
One pool, guys, please.
I spent a little bit of time at the library today. There's an article published by Bill Rockstroh back in 2007 called A Disneyland of Militant Ignorance. And a third of the country is living in that. Here's an updated version called The Joy of Militant Ignorance. Why people maintain themselves in a bubble of fantasy and their refusal to face reality. There's books on that. Right now, we have people believing that that woman that was murdered point blank in Minnesota was a terrorist that was harassing the ICE agency. As Tom just, another thing, people have to come to realize that from 2016 to 2020, America had no president. And from the 2020, pipe down.
It's free speech. Let him go.
I'll just stop until they get through harassing me.
No.
This is free speech.
Come on.
Where are you going?
It's an open mic tonight.
It's an open mic night tonight.
And the only way people hear about certain kinds of information is word of mouth now. It's not in the media, not in the press, not on the radio. It's on websites. Start my watch again. Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. He's masquerading as the president. He doesn't do any presidential duties. The man is a corporate criminal, bloated, bloviating, two-legged toxic waste dump motivated by a psychopathic brain.
Puppet.
he's a hand puppet on the third finger of a collective group of billionaire predators that are changing America into a police state.
Same thing.
Hush.
There's an article today on Common Dreams called Ex-Presidents. What more do you need to see before calling for Trump's impeachment? Trump should have been chucked out of office within 72 hours in 2017 when he first hit the Oval Office. And the Senate and the Congress have not been doing their duty at all. Well, there's going to be protests all over the country, picking up speed right now from what happened in Minneapolis and Portland. And many people say, this is it. This is the turning point. This is the Kent State moment when the National Guard fired into some students in 1970. And the country woke up and said, fuck this. We're not going to put up with it anymore. Well, that's where we are now. Tom Hartman has an article on the smirking chimp. One of his articles said Benjamin Franklin forecast this way back in 1776 or 8 or something. What would happen if the powers of B became concentrated into one man? Well, we're seeing it. And the billionaire predators that own and operate our media have been enabling Trump. So what we have right now is a fascist country in America. This is not a free democracy anymore. If we're going to have a democracy, we have to take it back. We have to protest in massive numbers and get out the vote. Also, help everybody understand that they're going to try to rig the vote again, suppress. They want to change the mailing rules so that mail won't be counted. Like if you had your ballot stamped day before the election or something and mailed it, it was going to be good, even if it got there 2 or 3 days later. Well, they're quietly trying to change the post office rules right now. So ballots that are mailed before but don't get counted until after, they're just not going to count them. And they might be able to disenfranchise 20 million Democratic and progressive voters. We have a lot of work for us to do. The overwhelming message that's coming through all of these articles, writers across the board, Common Dreams, Smirking Chimp, Truth Out, Buzzflash, they say silence is consent. That comes right straight out of Germany. People remain silent while Jews, workers, socialists were being rounded up. Well, as long as they weren't coming for me, I remained silent. Well, that silence means consent. If we remain silent, we won't have a democracy in this country anymore. I got 18 seconds here. So that's all I have to say. One last thing I have to say is the future belongs to solar. Nuclear power takes a decade to put up a gigawatt of electricity. The solar industry is putting up a gigawatt every 18 hours now. They're replacing a nuclear power plant every 18 hours around the world. Thank you.
Anybody? So it's rebuttal time.
Yeah, it's going to be rebuttal time. All right. We're going to go about 2 minutes per rebuttal. Jake, you're up next. Jake, you're up next. Unmute, Jake.
Jake, Eric,
Hi.
and Joe.
You got 2
Hi.
minutes.
Okay. I just wanted to say earlier, I'm glad Jeff Schrammick was mentioned. He's the one who, more than anyone, got me interested in the college. So, would like to have a moment of silence for him. When he died, I didn't know about it until after the fact. I wasn't able to go to the funeral. So let's have a moment of silence for him and for anyone else who was with us years ago, over the years, who's left us. What else can I say? Thank you, Andy, for your talk about Donald Trump. Yes, he never should have been elected in the first place, and now he's a disaster. We have to go all out to diminish his influence in the next election and vote the mega Republicans out of office entirely in 2028. I know the Trump and company will go full out to try to destroy the next couple elections. So we got a work cut out for us on that front. Last thing I wanted to say about, I can't remember who spoke about 9/11. I don't buy any of the conspiracy theories. I particularly don't buy a conspiracy theory about Israelis being behind it. That makes absolutely no sense. The U.S. is Israel's best ally. There's no evidence at all that they were behind 9/11, and that's all I have. I don't want to hear it. And that's all I have to say about it.
Okay,
Eric,
Where's the moment of silence?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so Trump seems to be the elephant in the room. So I'm going to continue on that a little bit because I have the privilege to read the national security strategy from White House, published in December, and the Chinese version, counterpart of it, national security strategy white paper published in May last year. So I compare. There's one interesting thing. It's in the U.S. version, White House version, everywhere in the document, President Trump accomplished this. President Trump wants to do that. It's about President Trump. And in Chinese version, it's a CCP accomplished this. CCP wants to do that. So think about it. If you compare, okay, China, at least they have a CCP. It's a collective leadership, governance. It doesn't say President Xi Jinping. It says CCP, right? Over here, it's a one person, President Trump. So think about that. I personally have no dog in the game. Recent U.S. presidents were all like pretty vile to me. So I'm not picking up President Trump particularly, just to present this the contrast or comparison. Food for thought. Thank you.
All right. Joe, Ellen, and then
we also have another one online too.
All right.
All right, Joseph Kopsik, you want to go? I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just take 2 minutes. Before I start, could I just get Bill's last name?
Lee.
Bill Lee. All right. I'm going to share my email. We should talk over email later. But yeah, thanks for the correction. You're absolutely right. I did look that up. The ABC News report does not say that the woman said they looked like Palestinians or were dressed as Arabs. So I'll take your point on that. But still, she did say they were like happy, they didn't look shocked to me. I thought it was very strange. And I personally think, and a lot of Americans think, the reason they were celebrating is because they knew that the 9/11 attacks would be construed as an attack on America and Jews by Muslims, and that it would be used as a pretext for invading, I don't even know how many countries it's been, 7 countries. Wesley Clark talked about the plan to invade 7 countries. They're all Muslim majority countries. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. We've killed 4 million Muslims since 1991. I think that the fact that they didn't look shocked and were ready to film and said their purpose was to document the event, it suggests to me and a lot of people that they had foreknowledge and were celebrating. And they were also revealed to be Mossad agents. That's what it says in the ABC News report. And this is not a smear against Jewish people or the Jewish religion. You can look up anti-Zionist rabbis like Yaakov Shapiro and Dovid Weiss, whose names I'll share in the chat, if you want to see the difference between Zionism and Judaism. Traditional Judaism has always been against having Zionism until after the Messiah comes. Thanks.
Okay.
All right, yeah, Ellen.
Okay, who's next?
Everybody gets 2 minutes.
Yes.
2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes.
2-minute rebuttals now.
Yeah, but I already said Ellen was going to go. Okay.
All right. As far as 9/11, Bill Lee and other et al. Persons who will not be named, I think it's kind of anti-Arabism. Like, why not? Osama bin Laden was a very intelligent person. Why couldn't he plan a little thing like 5 airplanes taken off from different places and taken over by different people? He's not smart enough. We need white people to do this, Christians to do this. Cheney and George W. Bush Are you serious? Are you serious? This is
Yes.
typical of the college. You have way out theories that nobody else thinks about and just have it. And this is the place for it. This is where it's accepted. This is where it's loved and continued year after year, 75 years. And it'll probably go on another 75. And that's more power to them. It's free speech. As far as my thing, I say nature is where it's at. Nature, people either believe in nature or they believe in technology. And the two clash constantly. And there are wars over technology, there are wars over nature, there are wars over oil. As somebody gave a talk here not too long ago about oil. And people get bored with that. They say, oh, we all got cars. Everybody's got a car. Go in your car after this meal and drive home and you'll be happy. Yeah. But the earth won't be happy. The earth will be sad. And you know why the dinosaurs died out?
Why?
Because of global warming. Global warming killed the dinosaurs. Think about that.
All right, Dan, your time's up. Ellen, go.
Dinosaurs. That keeps power.
That keeps me up all night.
It was like it was an asteroid.
That's bullshit. It was global warming. They had it volcanoes.
All right.
Guys,
Yeah,
2 minutes. Okay. Boy, which one do I take up? But I have to. I've been with. I hope people will come to 9. I've got to go to a group every Tuesday from 7 to 9 called the truthactionproject.org. And you go to events, sign up. I hope you'll all come. It's a great group of similar to this, but a little more functional because we've got a board of directors that are, and we've fallen onto a pattern for the last year. Our goal is to get the government to stop lying to us about Kennedy assassination, about 9/11, and about COVID. And, you know, there is that Project Oversight Committee, this Anna Luna from Florida. We started organizing last year, and they did bring in, some people, Oliver Stone, and about 9/11, but it's not enough. But it just shows that we can be effective. And every week and I think it's partially because of our efforts that the Epstein stuff is coming up. And then that is connecting to my research. 5 years ago, I talked here. That's the last time I did talk here, February 20th, 2020, on the Promise software. I was supposed to talk about the Supreme Court, but I've been connected by the man the National Security Agency genius who invented this Promise software, which is basically AI. And it had been stolen by the Israeli military intelligence group, Rafi Eitan. And that's brings me to what I'm saying now. Dan, when we say that it was Osama bin Laden, okay, there's this great book, David Livingstone, Divide and Conquer, Muslims versus Islam, and Rafi Eitan is behind the AI that's taken over the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, Andy. I want to talk about a subject that I think is nobody's talking about. I think it's being censored, or at least it's not getting any media play because the big people, Zuckerberg, and the big media people are involved in it, and that is billions of dollars being put in to an effort to create superhuman AI or artificial general intelligence. I have here the name of a book. I was in Barnes and Noble's. It's called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. Yeah. Why Superhuman AI Would Kill Us All by Eliezer Yudkowsky and Nate Soares. Here's the issue. It may kill us or it may not kill us. But what's going on is there's no regulation. Trump wants to create an executive order saying that the states cannot regulate AI, which is just absurd. And what should happen is that these companies, Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, these companies that are trying to create superhuman AI should have to prove that it is safe before they go ahead and do it. They are on record as saying, Elon Musk, Sam Altman is on record of saying, oh, there's a 25% chance it could lead to human extinction. There's a 30% chance it could lead to human extinction. Do we trust these people to be playing with our future? Some of the top people in the AI field, the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, and other top people think it may cause human extinction. So we need to pay attention to this.
All right, who's next?
Okay.
Next. Does anybody know?
Jake, you got Jake.
Didn't Jake already go twice?
No, I think he did, but
All right, who wants
Hi.
to-
Hi. Hello.
yes.
Hi, this is Jake. How you doing? Yeah, since we were talking about 9/11, something I forgot to say, which is just the backdrop of it. Namely, it could have been prevented. By that I mean, the story goes that in August of 2001, W took a whole month off. He took a vacation. He went back to his ranch in Texas. While he was there, he got communication from somewhere in Washington. I'm not clear if it's the Pentagon or the Joint Chiefs of Staff or something, but he got a notice to the effect that something was happening in the Middle East. They weren't sure where or when, but something was about to happen. He didn't pay any attention to it. He put it in the back of his mind. I think mostly he just didn't want to end his vacation early. So then he gets back to Washington, and September 11th happens, and he thinks, and he panics. He thinks, "Oh my God, I got a notice about this. I got some kind of communication about this, and I didn't do anything about it. I've put down I've let down the American people." And then he overreacted to it. So if he had been paying, the point is, if he had been paying attention, it could have easily been prevented. And the conspiracy theories don't make any sense to me because they're like after the fact. The real issue is, why wasn't it prevented to be when they had intelligence reports saying that something was about to happen, and the man on the top wasn't paying any attention to it? It could have been prevented. That's all I have to say on that one.
All right, Ernie.
Yeah.
And then
something I forgot to bring up, and I think it's very important about the College of Complexes. We call it a free speech forum, and I think it's very, very important that we keep it a free speech forum, and that we use the most liberal definition that we reasonably can. There was a time a few years ago during the pandemic when the government actually prevented us from being a free speech forum, at least in part because they threatened the groups like Facebook and Zoom and others that if you put out anti-vax messages, we will cut you off. And they did have, and I think Tim had an experience with that. He can tell us about that later. And thereby stifling free speech on that subject. Now, since then, Zuckerberg has apologized. Zuckerberg, who is the founder of Facebook and the leader of Facebook, apologized for the fact that he actually knuckled under to the government and did this and cut people off if they said things that the government didn't want them to say. And he apologized and said he should have stood up to them. But in any case, hopefully that particular aspect of it is now over. And I think it's important that we recognize free speech to be free speech. In other words, not free speech unless you offend me or you offend my friends. With certain reasonable limitations, no hollering fire in a crowded theater, no fighting words, this kind of thing. There should be some very, very, very few and very specific limitations. Other than that, free speech means free speech. You can talk whatever you want. You can make whatever point you want, regardless of how silly or stupid it is. We will listen to it, and then we will, in our rebuttal period, try and make you seem foolish. But, you know, that's how it works. Thank you very much.
Okay, Kathy Powers, and then we'll go with Andy. Kathy, go ahead.
Okay, I have a poem about 9/11 since we're talking about it. I wrote it in September of 2001. Pilot Terror. Infinite reports immerse our senses. Colossal towers melt to charred rubble. Mighty radio transmitters relay immutable silence. Abandoned cars populate parking lot cemeteries. A voiceless nation mutely scrambles, prepares never-used trauma stations, collects unneeded blood and organs. Powdered remains need no nourishment. Skyjackers, people erasers expunge Big Apple's workforce to DNA dust. Vapors spew acrid breath over Barty Park raindrops. Tacit pandemonium watchers, struck dumb in awe, monitor newspeak and comprehend not why terrorists airbrush NYC skyline in smoldering, sooty, steely, smoked down.
Okay, Andy, I'm gonna let Kelvin, I'm gonna let Andy, go ahead.
She's got one too.
That 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. As far as 9/11 goes, there's documented reality that's being ignored by people that are maintaining themselves in what I just mentioned, a Disneyland of militant ignorance. There are documented facts. What?
Get the mic closer.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. The official story is false. There's 50 books out on that I have in my own library. Number one fact, the towers didn't collapse. They went sideways in the wind as a cloud of dust. The towers were dustified before anything hit the ground. They went sideways in the wind. Number two fact, 4 buildings were destroyed on 9/11. We were told about 2 plane crashes in that area. 4 buildings came down. Building Tower 1, Tower 2, the 22-story building 3, those were all 3 dustified, and Building 7 came down in a controlled demolition at 5:20. Those are documented. There's hundreds of videos from different angles.
That's not true.
It's absolutely
One
true.
not fast.
Okay, I'll just stop my
Charlie,
clock.
come on.
I'll stop my
Charlie, please.
Well, you can stop.
Charlie, go ahead.
We've heard this 10 times.
Follow your own rules, Charlie.
You've been shouting me down 10 times too. A free speech forum should be able, you should be able to present reality.
Yeah.
Anyone who believes the official story, anyone who believes the official story of 9/11 is either willfully ignorant of the facts or they're intellectual prostitutes paid to lie to us. That's it. Now we have the Republican side of Congress is packed with massive amounts of intellectual prostitutes that are masquerading as politicians. They all voted en masse to say that lady that was murdered by ICE, that she was a terrorist trying to run ICE over with a car. The video eyewitnesses, everybody says that is just blatant bullshit. And the mayor got it right out there in Minnesota. He told ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. Thank you.
All right, we got Kelvin, and then we'll go to Charlie.
Okay, just a quick one on the report on Jack. You're talking about intelligence
Why
reports.
I don't come here anymore.
Not every intelligence report.
Order.
Not every intelligence report is acted upon. In 1944, the most guarded secret of the Allies was the D-Day landings. It was the most top secret plans ever. Do you know that the Germans had it? Do you know they had a butler who was a spy, one of the embassies, who was being paid, and he got them the entire D-Day plans, and it was not believed. Admittedly, there were a lot of counterintelligence operations. The secret, the Phantom Army on the Pas-de-Calais, which was commanded by Patton, who was in disgrace, but they had the plans to D-Day. They could have prevented D-Day, but they didn't believe it. Okay, that's intelligence plans. That's one thing, all right? Other little rebuttal. This is for Kathy. You were talking before about old people's homes. I wrote a poem about how to get decent treatment in an old folks' home. Okay, and it goes like this: if I end up in a nursing home, mind and body almost gone, please get some guys in black suits and ties to visit, kiss my ring, and call me Don.
All right. Go ahead, Kathy.
Well, here's my tribute to like Jeff Schramm and College of Complexes.
Speak into the mic. Into the mic.
Here's my tribute to Jeff Schramm and College of Complexes. I learned a lot over the years attending College of Complexes and meeting different interesting people. And, you know, I mean, Jeff was my boyfriend. He taught me a lot about the world. And, you know, I mean, I'm you know, ever so grateful for having known him. And, well, that's about all I can think of to say at this point. But let's hear it for Jeff.
All right.
Yay.
All right. Charlie, I guess that's it. Go ahead.
This microphone don't work. Anyhow, Andy Anderson showed up here with Judy Wood's book on 9/11, who theorized. She spent $85 on that book. So he told us that her theory was that the two buildings were brought down by a newly developed secret directed energy weapon that they had in Brooklyn someplace and aimed it at the buildings. We also had Jim Feitzer here who said, no, it was a nuclear bomb used in the elevator shaft. Now the question I've been posed, and you never given me an answer, is why after all these years has not one person confessed to say, I was one of the conspirators, a deathbed confession. And why has not one person been convicted? How long do we have to wait for that to come true? Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Hear me?
Final rebuttal.
Yeah.
All right.
I know the answer to that, not that you care.
Bill's got something else to say. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I got the 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Such anger. What a lousy way to live. Just lighten up. Things aren't as bad as you think they are. As far as the attacks on September 11th and the 5 Israelis, yeah, they were thrilled because they would have America as an ally fighting against a common enemy. Anyways, so the important things to know when you research things are always use source documents. Don't single source, and the initial story is always wrong. So don't look at those initial stories that said all these crazy things because afterwards they're found out to be false. So my email then is 911scholar@gmail. So everybody can write and I'll answer all their questions. And also coming in the year, if you want me back, and I'll give the final official story about what happened on September 11th. Be very informative. I'll answer all your questions. And I guess it's too bad that people are so believe in their own bias that no facts will sink through their head. They believe you have to have an open mind, Well, their mind has been so open, their brain's falling out. So also, I'd like to get that poem that was written by the woman. So my email, 911scholar@gmail.com. So thanks for your time. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Tim.
All
All
right.
right, we got Tim, and then we're going to wrap it up.
It says in scripture,
That's all.
a fool is not interesting in a fool is not interested in understanding, but only in the revealing of their own mind. And I think we've seen a lot of minds revealed tonight. But we do have to understand. But I do know this forum is one fool at a time, and I guess we all like to reveal our own minds. Okay, Justin, let's get us wrapped up and go Bears.
Go Bears. Go Packers.
All right, guys, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
All right, great findings.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Go team, go.